and Pakistan, they work together on a lot of things. So let's narrow it down. Let's start with military cooperation. How are their militaries working together, and what is the CCP's goal?
Right, great question to start with. Well, China and Pakistan are working militarily together in three ways. First is security on the ground. As you know, China is investing massively in Pakistan, and it wants to make sure those investments are not tampered with and are not interfered with and are not in any danger. So the reason why they would be in danger to create the need for this cooperation in the first place is largely due to a region called Balochistan within Pakistan. If you look at the map of CPEC, it runs from the northeastern Pakistani region right down through kind of on the borders of Balochistan, but it ends in Balochistan, which is Gwadar port. Um, and the Balochis are quite upset with Pakistan's government, so with Islamabad, because they always see themselves as having been disenfranchised. Islamabad takes more resources than it gives back to the province. There's no proper redistribution of wealth happening, according to the Balochis. And so a lot of the things you hear about suicide bombers and killings of Chinese personnel have happened due to or in Balochistan. Even women have participated in this, just as a testament to how bitterly China is not popular there. So, as a result, China has implemented something called the Safer Cities program, which comes with a whole suite of surveillance, police, and military training in order to make sure that Pakistani personnel are able to combat what they see as suspicious maneuvers that would threaten Chinese investments therein. What the military comes in is that some of these maneuvers are done with the coordination of the PLA's military and PLA's navy, specifically because it is a port in Gwadar. Um, so you have that going on. The two militaries of them, in and of themselves, are coordinating. They're doing joint military activities. They have one going on in Kashmir. They've had one going on in the line that divides Tibet between China and India. And so it's kind of a way for China to provoke India and be like, oh, look, me and Pakistan are going to work really well together to combat you if you try to put anything in Tibet. Um, Furthermore, interestingly enough, China has been Pakistan's number one source of military technology. So it exports a lot of military equipment to Pakistan. China used to be a drone importer. Now it's a drone exporter. So it's able to export drones. It exported recently 50 drones to Pakistan. However, the US still maintains an edge because US technology is relatively more advanced. And so Pakistan doesn't want to necessarily lose the US as a military patron, so to speak, but it's made no effort to hide its growing courtship of China's military. Moreover, the GPS navigation system, which we all know, which works on all of our phones, in Pakistan, they dropped that and now they're using the Beidou Chinese navigation system. So, just to show you the extent of this military technological cooperation. So, you have security on the ground through either Chinese military personnel just around certain projects, such as the Navy, or through coordination with the Pakistani military. You have arms sales and you have military exercises, which have become more and more, which have become longer and involved more personnel and more equipment.
Would you say this is a pretty even partnership? Like both Pakistan and China are getting the same thing, like are getting an equivalent amount, or is China benefiting more from this? Is Pakistan benefiting more?
Thank you for that question. Well, it depends who you ask. From what I see, Pakistan is benefiting massively more from this deal because it needs extra power to keep a check on India, right? India is really one of the reasons that they're doing this. The other reason is Balochistan. So if you're a Pakistani Baloch, you don't like what's going on. You see that China is overstepping. Now, in terms of benefit, China does also get benefit from this because it means that its military has more influence over Pakistan and over Pakistan's military. And Pakistan's military is quite entrenched in the country. its influence is what is over its influence transcends the purely military dimension. It's also involved in the food industry, disaster prevention industry, education, so on and so forth. So this cooperation certainly benefits both sides. It gives China more influence. It gives China a new source of exports for its military industry, and Pakistan, meanwhile, receives, I guess, cheaper or more useful military equipment for itself. It has a new partner with which to train its military. China has also I don't want to say dragged Pakistan into, but kind of had Pakistan get involved with its own kind of military organizations. One I can name you is the Quadrilateral Cooperation and Coordination Mechanism, which also includes collaboration with Tajikistan. So it's like a Central Asia China affair. So there's an institutional aspect to this as well.
I'd like to focus in a bit on that security cooperation for a moment. What is the line between China protecting its legitimate interests in Pakistan versus China essentially annexing part of Pakistan if they control, say the port of Gwadar, and then they have their own military patrolling, or they have a massive security presence? At what point is it beyond just China protecting its citizens from a terrorist attack to China being, and the Chinese military being, the de facto power in this region?
Well, there are small pockets within Pakistan where they're like China only or Chinese only zones where Pakistanis are not allowed in. I don't think these were meant to specifically annex any geostrategic area. I think it's just to protect Chinese nationalists and to give them some liberties, especially in terms of like clothing and behavior, which may not be furnished for the citizens of Pakistan or desired by the government of Pakistan. So it could be like they're just not compatible with Pakistani society and their traditions and their norms. So it could be that where it would transgress is I can't really name you a specific incident where there was a huge breach of Pakistani sovereignty, because the state has been mostly on board with whatever China wants to do. It's only Balochistanis that have really been up in arms about this, literally.
Right. There was that bus bombing a few months ago, and that was Balochistan, right? People were upset about all the Chinese workers coming in and exploiting their resources and taking their local jobs, right?